Australia would be hosting the Malabar exercises, essentially shaping up a squad exercises off their coast, and that in itself is a significant marker of how broad-based the relationship has become.
All right, Abhishek Kapoor, thank you very much for joining us and bringing us those details. So as Abhishek was pointing out, of course, this is being seen as a key bilateral visit between the two sides.
Which could be true and which we believe it to be true. Today, something like 17 people gave notice for adjournment. That shows how concerned we are about the subject. From the day one, we have been giving this. All that we asked is either you inquire it to JPC or through the Supreme Court also we asked at that time. Supreme Court gave a slap on the face of the present government by appointing its own commission of inquiry into this. But we are not satisfied. I'm not saying we reject it. We are not satisfied because it will look into the legal aspects of any scandal and a scam. But this case, as I know from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, this Adani has taken over almost all, even the airports to ports, by putting people under CBI first. After 3 months of CBI's pressure, he took over the companies, and then everything was sorted out. So we know the aspects, the political aspect of it. So JPC is one committee, one body which will go into the two aspects of it. It will go into the legal aspect at the same time with the political aspect. The political aspect is more important for any national scandal or a scam. This is not a scandal nor a scam. It's more than that. I don't know the right word for that. It involves not only lakhs of rupees as Pramodji says, it involves the very economy. It is going to affect its consequences, and it affects on the economy, on the people's money, on the people's deposits, the banks are in other deposits would certainly be affected. So what we are saying is, we are not asking for anybody's favor. We are just saying this is a nation, this is its wealth, this is its people. Let, if there is a slogan, there is any doubt of scandal or a scam, let us inquire by a very credible agency. One is JPC. SC will come, but JPC. This is what is our demand is, and this demand will remain till the JP is appointed. Let there be no doubt in anybody's mind that this is just coming as a political slogan or a political demand. This is going to be there because we are concerned about the people and the economy of the country.
DM, Mr. Raja will speak on behalf of DM.
It is very strange that the ruling party itself is disturbing the parliament to discharge its democratic function. My humble request to the media, just to recall the memories what happened in 2G. 45 days parliament was stalled. I wrote a letter to JPC. No opportunity was declined, it gave the report. It was thoroughly discussed. And we came out from the judiciary also. What happened now? Hindenburg report says there is a stock manipulation and accountancy fraud. These people are having no strength to discuss in the parliament whether the report is correct or not. Let them prove that the report is motivated and the report is not correct. In a democratic system, people should come for a healthy discussion. On the other hand, simply because Congress leader Rahul Gandhi submitted certain allegations, you are entitled to disprove it. But for that you are sending police, CBI, income tax, this is completely undemocratic. The country will not tolerate all these things. Prime Minister should come to the parliament and he must give answer to the nation. Unless and until it happens, the entire democratic system will be put into peril. We will continue our education.
Yelamara Karanji from CPM will. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Leaders explained here. Narendra Modi, Amit Shah team are afraid of a free discussion in the parliament. They have many things to hide. That is why unprecedented ruling party is shouting in the house. they are responsible for the adjournment of the House from 13th onwards. Our demand is very genuine, legitimate. We will continue our demand for a investigation on Hindenburg report and looting by Adani. We will not go backstep from that slogan. Now government is trying to terrorize opposition.
Well, the opposition over there very, very firm on their demands as far as this session of Parliament is concerned. They are asking for a JPC into the Adani issue. Now, we have, of course, seen a logjam of sorts in both houses of Parliament. No work has been transacted for the past 4 days that the Parliament has been in session. And on to a top international news story. Demonstrators gathered in Paris a day before voting on 2 no-confidence motions against the French government.
24 hours before voting on a controversial pension reform bill in France, demonstrators gathered in Paris. Demonstrations soon took a serious turn which culminated in tension between riot police and the demonstrators, some of which briefly clashed with the police. Protests have been taking place since French President Emmanuel Macron announced the unpopular pension reform and invoked the government's constitutional power to pass the bill without a vote at the National Assembly. Macron's political opponents in the National Assembly filed 2 no-confidence motions Friday against the government of Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne. Government officials are hoping to survive a vote on the motions because the opposition is divided, with many Republicans expected not to support it. If a motion passes, however, it would be a big blow for Macron. Agency report for Republic TV.
A look now at the top international news. Top British officials have said that the UK government will take security of the Indian High Commission here seriously as they condemned the vandalism at the mission by a group of protesters waving separatist Khalistani flags. The Chinese President Xi Jinping will be meeting with the Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow today. This as China aspires for a more dominant role on the world stage. The planned meeting comes after a series of developments in which China has asserted itself as peacemaker, including the release of its own peace plan for Ukraine and the brokering of an agreement between Saudi Arabia and Iran to resume diplomatic relations. Ma Ying-jeou, the former president of Taiwan, is scheduled to make a historic visit to China this month, becoming the first Taiwanese president, whether current or retired, to ever visit the communist nation. During the 10-day trip starting the 27th of March, the contrasting views of Taiwan's 2 major political parties on their relationship with China will be emphasized just as they prepare to campaign for the upcoming presidential and parliamentary elections in January 2024. U.S. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby has claimed that he wasn't aware of any calls for violent protest that may have been made by the former U.S. President Donald Trump. He added that there is no indication that the White House needs to bolster security. The Iraqi Foreign Minister Fawad Hussain has joined the European Union officials in Brussels for a meeting of the EU-Iraq Cooperation Council. Ahead of the meeting, EU's Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell has said that he hoped Iraq and the bloc would build on their solid partnership, adding that they plan to discuss a wide range of issues from economic cooperation to migration. Demonstrators gathered in Paris on Sunday, a day before the French lawmakers are set to vote on 2 no-confidence motions against the government that could result in a rejection of the controversial pension reform bill. There was tension between riot police and the demonstrators, some of which briefly clashed with the police. New York Community Bank has agreed to buy a significant chunk of the failed Signature Bank in a $2.7 billion deal. The 40 branches of Signature Branch will now become Flagstar Branch starting today. Flagstar is one of New York Community's bank subsidiaries. Nepal's newly elected Vice President Ram Sahai Prasad Yadav is scheduled to take the oath of office and secrecy at 10 local time today. A Colombian army helicopter that crashed on Sunday claimed the lives of 4 soldiers who were on board. President Gustavo Petro has said that there are no survivors in the accident in Quibdó in the west of the country. 5 children from the U.S. state of Connecticut, ranging in ages from 8 to 17, were killed in a fiery early morning crash on the highway in New York State. Police believe that the vehicle was being driven by a 16-year-old boy when it veered off Hutchinson River Parkway in Scarsdale, hitting a tree and catching fire. And still to come on Republic TV, 24 hours on, Amritpal Singh is still on the run. Republic accesses clincher CCTV tape footage. And Liquorgate explodes. The BRS leader K. Kavitha appears before the ED for round 2 of interrogations.
The Delhi police officials have reached the residence of Rahul Gandhi only after notice was issued to Rahul Gandhi seeking the statements and details of the women he was talking about during one of his speeches at Bharat Jodo Yatra, that many women during that time had come and shared their ordeals of sexual assault by their own family members and near and dear ones. The special CP coming from one gate and entering back in the residence from the other gates. We'll have to see as to what is it all about, whether he has given any time or whether he has cooperated or not, but a lot of support pouring in at the Congress leader's residence. The Delhi police officials have reached the residence of Rahul Gandhi only after notice was issued to Rahul Gandhi seeking the statements and details of the women he was talking about during one of his speeches at Bharat Jodo Yatra, that many women during that time had come and shared their ordeals of sexual assault by their own family members and near and dear ones. The special
Well, the Bandipura police have attached 2 properties of a wanted terrorist associate, Ayajaz Ahmed Dweshi of Gundapura, Rampura. Now, he's already lodged in a jail in Uttar Pradesh. 2 terrorist associates identified in North Kashmir. Now, we're given to understand that their properties have been attached by the police. I'm going to try and go across to our reporter to explain to us what's happening. But do remember, there has been a crackdown on terror in Jammu and Kashmir, and that seems to be continuing even as we speak. Pictures on your screen are of these 2 properties that are being attached in a bid to be able to track down on terror. Now, the Bandipur police, of course, has attached these two properties in a bid, what is essentially seen as a crackdown on terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir. Zeenat is joining us live from Srinagar. Zeenat, give us more details of what's happening.
See, as far as this is another raid that is coming in Bandipur of North Kashmir, where the two properties have now been attached. In fact, what we are picking from the sources is that the house that has been raided, that their son is the LET commander who has been active in the North Kashmir for 8 long years, and now today the search is being conducted by the investigating agency. All this is coming at a time when the government of Jammu and Kashmir has made it quite clear that nobody will be spared whosoever will be supporting the terrorism in the Jammu and Kashmir. In fact, the same as far as this terror crackdown is concerned, we also heard yesterday ADGP Kashmir making it very clear that even the properties, the movable and the immovable assets will be attached. Not only they are being used presently or have been used in the recent part, but even the decade-long cases they are investigating, and there is a provision in the law that the properties can be attached. So we are seeing an action coming in the North Kashmir's Bandipora, where the two residential houses have been attached by the investigating agency.
All right. So Zeenat, of course, is bringing us the details of this. Now, Zeenat, even as this crackdown, this particular one is taking place, there is also a larger crackdown that we are seeing in the valley. Now, it's been quite a while, and we have seen, essentially attempts to zero in on the financing modules of these people, isn't it?
Absolutely, Nupur. We have been seeing crackdown not only in the form of attaching the properties, but many people have been detained, many have been arrested, they have been questioned. Immovable or the movable properties have been attached, and this is going on for the last 6 years now, because the first raid of the National Investigating Agency were carried in 2017, and since then this process is on. Whether we talk about the NIA, State Investigating Agency, CIK of the Kashmir, or we talk about the ED, the politicians were grilled by the investigating agencies. Many during the demolition time they have also demolished the illegal properties, or they were seized, or the OGWs were arrested, their properties were sold. So in a larger way, if we see the picture of the terror crackdown in the Kashmir Valley, it is more like you have to demolish even the low-rung leaders or those who try to facilitate the movement of terrorists as far as the logistics or even the terror movement is concerned. So we are seeing that OGWs, low-rung leaders, or the commanders, whether it's some top commander is there or a C-grade terrorist is there, their families whom they belong to, even everybody is coming under this very net, where the investigating agencies are investigating the role of all the people, the properties that have been used, how those properties were used, and all the terrorists, those who took shelter in these properties. So we see that the investigating agencies are investigating these cases on a larger network, which was also required, because if you see the graph of terrorism in the Jammu and Kashmir, we have seen it coming down. Although ADGP Kashmir yesterday also said and claimed that now the local terrorist number has come down to 28, which is all time a big success for the security forces, although he did not talk about the movement or the number of the foreign or the Pakistani terrorists, but he also said the focus is there to neutralize the Pakistani terrorists who are making their movements. He also suggested that yes, the locals, the youngsters are opting for the educational, and also the government of India's Ministry of Home Affairs policy are making inroads in the Kashmir Valley, which was not there early.
No, absolutely, Zeenat. So essentially the attempt is dismantling terrorist infrastructure and, keeping at it. That's what we understand of the policy. Thank you very much for joining us. And coming up next, the big question over law and order in Punjab. Who let Amritpal Singh escape? And Liquorgate explodes as the BRS leader Kekavata appears before the ED for round 2 of interrogation. And bulldozer action continues in Uttar Pradesh. We get you more details.
the Delhi police officials have reached the residence of Rahul Gandhi only after notice was issued to Rahul Gandhi seeking the statements and details of the women he was talking about during one of his speeches at Bharat Jodo Yatra, that many women during that time had come and shared their ordeals of sexual assault by their own family members and near and dear ones. The special CP coming from one gate and entering back in the residence from the other gate. So we'll have to see as to what is it all about, whether he has given any time or whether he has cooperated or not, but a lot of support pouring in at the Congress leader's residence.
Good afternoon and welcome. This is live and breaking on Republic TV. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri. Here is a look at the headlines at noon. "24 hours on, Amritpal Singh is still on the run. Republic accessive clincher, CCTV tape." Big questions over law and order in Punjab. Who let Amritpal Singh escape?
To begin with, I think you need closure, and the closure will only come if he apologizes. And he should apologize categorically.
The government hits out at Rahul Gandhi in an unrelenting attack, says Rahul must come clean with his agenda. Khalistanis get a free run in the United Kingdom. India's national flag is pulled down at the Indian High Commission. India summons a top UK diplomat to protest pulling down of the national flag at the mission in London. Liquorgate explodes. BRS leader K. Kavitha appears before the ED for round 2 of interrogation. Now, pictures on your screen have been accessed by Republic TV. This is the video of Amritpal's uncle and driver surrendering before the police at midnight. Now, Amritpal's driver and uncle had surrendered before the Punjab police late last night. And thereafter, we're given to understand that the Mercedes that was being driven by Amritpal Singh was also recovered. Now, internet services were suspended, and we are given to understand that the suspension has essentially been extended right now. So internet as well as SMS services continue to remain suspended in the whole of Punjab. Let me go across to Gursimran, who's reporting from Amritsar on this. Gursimran, so we are given to understand that even as the police so far have failed to track down Amritpal Singh, they are now continuing with the suspension of internet as well as SMS services. Update us on the situation in both aspects.
See, the situation remains peaceful throughout the Punjab, and we're coming to this specific video. This video is taken at around 12:30 late last night when the uncle of Amritpal, Harjeet, along with his driver, they surrendered before the police. They were in communication with the DIG Jalandhar, and the surrender was taken by the SSP of the Amritsar Rural. since the case Chunala and the Arms Act case both have been registered under the jurisdiction of Amritsar Rural Police Station. So the surrender has been taken by them. We tried speaking to the officials, but they are saying that a high-level meeting is on to look into each and every angle of this, and that's why they cannot comment on what is going on. But they are saying that very soon they will be in a position to share some more details. Today afternoon, we are expecting that the uncle and the driver of Amritpal will be produced before the competent court, and the police will be seeking the custody. Yesterday, we saw how 7 associates of Amritpal who were arrested from the area that falls under the jurisdiction of Amritsar Rural, they were taken to the court, and the court has granted 4 days of the police custody of all 7 to the Amritsar police. And today, the police is now going to produce the uncle as well as the driver of Amritpal before the court, and these are the exclusive visuals that we have managed to access, in which it can be clearly seen that the uncle of Amritpal handing over his belongings to the police, and then he is being moved to a police car, after which he was taken to an undisclosed location.
All right, hold your thoughts for a minute. I'm going to come back to you in just a bit, but let's also play out the conversation that Republic TV has had with Amritpal Singh's father.
अमृतपाल के चाचा ने और उनके ड्राइवर ने जो है पुलिस के सामने सरेंडर किया है। बात करने के लिए अमृतपाल के पिता हमारे साथ तरसेम जी मौजूद हैं। सर, आपके भाई और जो उनके ड्राइवर थे उन्होंने जो है सरेंडर किया है पुलिस के सामने। क्या आपको इस बाबत पहले जानकारी थी, आपसे बात हुई थी उनकी?
उनका रात को 10 बजे के आसपास एक फ़ोन आया था, तो उन्होंने यही बताया था कि हम सरेंडर करने जा रहे हैं। हमारा कुछ गुनाह तो कुछ नहीं है, लेकिन पुलिस अगर हमको गिरफ्तार करना चाह रही है तो हम तैयार हैं उसके लिए। तो हम लोग का पहले भी भागने का कोई मंशा नहीं थी, लेकिन हम लोग अपना प्रोग्राम अटेंड करने के लिए उधर जाना चाह रहे थे कि चलो ये दाएं बाएं होके कैसे निकल जाएं। तो और कोई हमारा भागने का किसी को कोई ऐसा कोई प्लान नहीं था। तो इसलिए हम सुबह मेरी DIG से बात हो रही है, जहाँ होगी है तो मैं सुबह तक सरेंडर कर दूंगा।
देखिए, पुलिस ने कुछ दावे किस चीज़ों के किए हैं। एक जो इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसीज बताती हैं कि जो यहाँ पे AKF लिखा है, अमृतपाल एक फ़ौज खड़ी करना चाहते थे अपनी, और हथियारबंद लोगों को अपने साथ जोड़ना चाहते थे। ये आरोप जो हैं केंद्रीय एजेंसियाँ लगा रही। नहीं, ऐसा बिल्कुल फेक हुआ है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं था। उन्होंने के वो जो लड़के थे उन्होंने पता नहीं उसका आनंदपुर खालसा अपने हथियारों पे आनंदपुर खालसा फौज ऐसा लिखा। बिल्कुल सही है। तो बाकी तो ऐसा कोई फौज जोड़ने का कोई धंधा नहीं था। कोई ऐसा 5-6 आदमी से फौज खड़ा होता है। वो कह रहे हैं कि जो एंटी ड्रग्स की बात की जा रही है कि ड्रग एडिक्शन से युवा
Right, pictures on your screen are coming to you from Prayagraj, where action is being taken, I think, against one of the accused in the Umesh Pal murder case, Ghulam. Pictures on your screen are of his residence that's now being demolished by the Uttar Pradesh government. So this, of course, is largely being seen as a crackdown of the Uttar Pradesh government against Mafia Raj. We have in the past seen other people who were involved in Umesh Pal's murder case. Similar action has been initiated against them as well.
इसको ध्वस्त किया गया। कुछ जो पोर्शन है, यानी कि ये देखिए किस तरीके से जो तमाम पत्थर है वो आप यहाँ पर देख रहे हैं नीचे की तरफ गिरे हुए हैं। जो आगे का हिस्सा है सबसे पहले उसे ध्वस्त किया जा रहा है, क्योंकि अगर आप घर का हिस्सा देखेंगे तो ये संकरी गली है जिसमें घर है। घर का जो मेन गेट है वो संकरी गली में अंदर से होकर जाता है और लंबाई में ये पूरा घर बना हुआ है। इसकी लंबाई ज़्यादा है और इसी को ध्वस्त करने का जो पूरा काम है वो किया जा रहा है। सबसे पहले ये देखिए, जो पहली दुकान थी, घर के बाहर जो तस्वीर हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं कैमरा 1 और कैमरा 2 से, ये 2 तस्वीरें हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं किस तरीके से बुलडोजर यहाँ पर चलता हुआ नजर आ रहा है। कैमरा 2 में आप देखिए किस तरीके से बुलडोजर का प्रहार देखने को मिला और कैमरा 1 की तस्वीर भी हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं सुपर एक्सक्लूसिव। ये देखिए एक बार फिर से बुलडोजर का पीला पंजा, ये देखिए पूरे घर के आगे का जो पूरा हिस्सा था, जो पूरी बाउंड्री थी, उसको ध्वस्त करने का काम किया जा रहा है। यहाँ पर चूंकि ये संकरी गली है जहाँ पर ये घर बना हुआ था, ऐसे में लोगों को भी यहाँ से बिल्कुल दूर कर दिया गया है। जो तमाम आसपास की दुकानें थी उन दुकानों को भी बंद कर दिया गया है। ये देखिए कैसे बड़ी कार्रवाई को अंजाम दिया जा रहा है। प्रयागराज का ये रसूलाबाद इलाका जहाँ पर शार्प शूटर मोहम्मद गुलाम का ये घर है और ये बॉम्बे हेयर ड्रेसर की जो पूरी दुकान थी जो किराए पर दे रखी थी उसको भी ये देखिए गिरा दिया गया। उसका शटर यहाँ पर बुलडोजर के माध्यम से, पीले पंजे के माध्यम से देखिए गिरा दिया गया। एक एक कर जो पूरे ध्वस्तीकरण की कार्रवाई है, एक एक हिस्से में जाकर उसको अंजाम दिया जा रहा है। ये देखिए एक बार फिर से यहाँ पर ये जो आगे की पूरी दीवार है, इस वक्त आप देखिए ये आगे की पूरी दीवार को तोड़ने का काम यहाँ पर किया जा रहा है। नीचे सब कुछ टूटा बिखरा हुआ पड़ा है और सब कुछ मलबे में अब तब्दील हो चुका है। और ये देखिए ये 2 दुकानों को जोड़ती हुई जो दीवार थी उस दीवार को तोड़ने का काम यहाँ पर किया जा रहा है। ये देखिए इन 2 दुकानों को, ये दोनों दुकानें मोहम्मद गुलाम की ही हैं। इन 2 जिसे किराए पर उसने चढ़ा रखा था, किराए पर दे रखा था, कोई और इन दुकानों को संचालित करता था। इन दुकानों को पहले ही खाली करा दिया गया था। उसके बाद ये देखिए इन दुकानों को जोड़ने वाली जो दीवार थी, यानी कि इन 2 दुकानों की कनेक्टिविटी की जो दीवार थी उसको तोड़ने का जो काम है वो यहाँ पर किया जा रहा है। एक एक कर आप देख रहे हैं किस तरीके से ये पीला पंजा सब कुछ तोड़ता हुआ नजर आ रहा है। ये देखिए आगे की जो पूरी दीवार है उसको भी ध्वस्त किया जा रहा है। ये तमाम पत्थर यहाँ पर मलबे के रूप में, जिन एक एक पत्थरों को जोड़कर ये पूरी इमारत खड़ी की गई थी, इस पूरी इमारत को मोहम्मद गुलाम ने अवैध रूप से खड़ा किया। वो तमाम पत्थर अब मलबे के रूप में नीचे सब धुआं हो गए हैं। एक और बुलडोजर को आप देख रहे हैं, ये देखिए काम को तेजी के साथ अंजाम देने के लिए एक और बुलडोजर यहाँ पर आ गया है। जिस तरीके से हमने आपको तस्वीर दिखाई थी कि 3 बुलडोजर यहाँ पर हैं जो ध्वस्तीकरण की कार्रवाई को अंजाम देंगे। बुलडोजर नंबर 1 की तस्वीर आप देख ही रहे हैं किस तरीके से वो दुकान को आगे, और इस तरफ अब ये देखिए किस तरीके से बुलडोजर नंबर 2 भी यहाँ पर आ गया है जो कि ध्वस्त करने का काम करेगा इस अवैध निर्माण को। और ये देखिए ये आगे पूरा सब कुछ मिट्टी में मिला दिया गया है। जो कहा था धुआं सब कुछ यहाँ पर होता हुआ नजर आ रहा है, जो कहा गया था कि मिट्टी में मिला देंगे, वही आज होता हुआ नजर भी आ रहा है। क्योंकि यहाँ पे बहुत संकरी गली है, ऐसे में सब कुछ यहाँ धुएं में तब्दील होता हुआ नजर आ रहा है। जिस तरीके से यहाँ पर इस अवैध निर्माण को गिराया जा रहा है, सब कुछ यहाँ पर सिर्फ और सिर्फ धुआं हो गया है। सामने हम आपको 5 कैमरों से तस्वीरें दिखा रहे हैं। ये देखिए तस्वीर जो हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं आपकी टीवी स्क्रीन पर, ये 5 कैमरों की तस्वीरें हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं कि किस तरीके से 5 कैमरों में आप अलग अलग एंगल से तस्वीरें देख रहे हैं जहां पर बुलडोजर एक्शन देखने को मिल रहा है। ये देखिए जो 2 दुकानें थी बुलडोजर नंबर 1 से आगे की तरफ की तोड़ी गई। उसके बाद ये देखिए बुलडोजर नंबर 2 को आप देख रहे हैं किस तरीके से वो दुकानें भी जो है अब तोड़ी जा रही हैं। ये देखिए एक एक कर पीले पंजे का जो प्रहार है वो देखने को मिल रहा है। ये देखिए किस तरीके से वो दुकानें भी यहाँ पर तोड़ी जा रही हैं। ये 5 तस्वीरें हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं आपकी टीवी स्क्रीन पर इस समय। 5 तस्वीरें, कैमरा नंबर 1, कैमरा नंबर 2, 3, 4, 5, ये 5 तस्वीरें हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं। इन तस्वीरों में आप देखेंगे कि हर तरफ धुआं नजर आ रहा है। ये देखिए शूटर गुलाम के घर पर बुलडोजर एक्शन देखने को मिल रहा है। जहां खबर वहां रिपब्लिक भारत और ग्राउंड जीरो से ये आप सुपर एक्सक्लूसिव तस्वीरें हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं कि किस तरीके से यहाँ पर बुलडोजर चलता हुआ नजर आ रहा है। रिपब्लिक भारत लगातार ग्राउंड जीरो से तमाम दर्शकों तक सुपर एक्सक्लूसिव तस्वीरें पहुंचा रहा है जहां पर अतीक के गुर्गों को एक एक कर निशाने पर लिया जा रहा है और एक एक कर तमाम गुर्गों के अवैध संपत्ति को ढहाने का जो काम है वो किया जा रहा है। ये बुलडोजर एक्शन का राउंड 2 है। पहले दिन हमने देखा कि किस तरीके से जफर अहमद खान के घर को गिराया ढाया गया, उसके बाद हमने देखा था सफदर अली के अवैध निर्माण को ढाया गया था, और फिर हमने देखा था कि मस्कुद्दीन के आलिशान घर को किस तरीके से तोड़ा गया था। और अब देखिए, अब जो तस्वीर हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं, ये बुलडोजर एक्शन का राउंड 2, जिसमें सबसे पहले जो नंबर लगा है वो शार्प शूटर मोहम्मद गुलाम के घर का लगा है, अवैध संपत्ति का लगा है। ये देखिए, घर की जो बाउंड्री वॉल है उसको तोड़ा जा रहा है। ये देखिए, आगे की जो पूरी बाउंड्री वॉल है उसको तोड़ने का काम यहाँ पर किया जा रहा है। आगे की जो दुकानें हैं उनको भी तोड़ने का काम किया जा रहा है। घर में गुलाम का भाई और गुलाम की माँ है, जिन्हें बाहर की तरफ सुरक्षित ठिकाने पर कहा गया है कि अब आप यहाँ से बाहर जाइए और सुरक्षित ठिकाने पर चले जाइए, लेकिन उन्होंने अपने सामने अपने घर को इस तरीके से वो भी टूटता हुआ देख रहे हैं, क्योंकि उन्हें नहीं पता था कि उनका बेटा इस तरीके से अतीक अहमद का इतना करीबी हो चुका है कि वो इस तरह से अवैध गतिविधियों में संलिप्त हुआ है और मर्डर जैसे वारदात को अंजाम दे चुका है। उन्हें ये सब कुछ, उनका ये कहना है कि हमें तो ये सब कुछ न्यूज़पेपर्स और टीवी के माध्यम से पता चला। फिलहाल ये आपके सामने ग्राउंड जीरो से सुपर एक्सक्लूसिव तस्वीर हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं। ये देखिए किस तरीके से बुलडोजर के जरिए, जेसीबी के माध्यम से ये तमाम जो अवैध संपत्ति है मोहम्मद गुलाम की, उसको तोड़ने का काम किया जा रहा है। संपत्ति पर मोहम्मद गुलाम 2014 के बाद से कभी नहीं आया। ये गुलाम के परिवारिक जनों ने बताया कि 2014 के बाद से गुलाम यहाँ पर कभी नहीं आया है। 2014 में गुलाम की जब शादी हुई उसके बाद से गुलाम गायब है। हमें नहीं पता वो कहाँ है। अगर हमें पता होता तो हम जरूर मदद करते, क्योंकि हम मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ ने जिस तरीके से कहा है कि अपराधियों का सफाया होना चाहिए, हम उनके साथ हैं, वो चाहे हमारे घर का सदस्य ही क्यों ना हो। ये गुलाम के परिवारिक जनों का कहना है। ये देखिए एक ईंट, ये ईंट जिससे इस अवैध इमारत को खड़ा किया गया मोहम्मद गुलाम के द्वारा, उस एक ईंट को गिराने का जो काम है वो यहाँ पर किया जा रहा है। ये देखिए, फिर आगे की जो पूरी बाउंड्री है उसको तोड़ा गया, घर के ऊपर की छत की जो पूरी बाउंड्री थी उसको तोड़ा गया। यहाँ पर ये देखिए सब कुछ मलबे में ढेर यहाँ पर आपको नजर आ रहा है, और आगे की तरफ धीरे धीरे ये जो बुलडोजर है वो चलता हुआ नजर आ रहा है। हालांकि ये जो हम आपको इलाका दिखा रहे हैं, ये देखिए ये संकरी गली में है, इसलिए आगे की तरफ से इसको पूरा तोड़ा जा रहा है, क्योंकि ये भी ध्यान रखना है कि बगल में जो घर है उसको किसी भी तरह का कोई भी नुकसान यहाँ पर ना पहुंचे। क्योंकि राइट हैंड साइड की तरफ जो घर आप देख रहे हैं, ये पीली इमारत जो आप देख रहे हैं जिसे तोड़ने का काम किया जा रहा है, ये मोहम्मद गुलाम का घर है। लेकिन इसके बगल वाला घर, यहाँ पर उसके ये घर का इन लोगों से कोई लेना देना नहीं है। ऐसे में इस बात का भी ध्यान रखा जा रहा है कि किसी भी तरह से जो आसपास की जो दूसरी चीजें हैं, दूसरे घर हैं या दुकानें हैं, उनको नुकसान ना पहुंचे। ये देखिए प्रयागराज विकास प्राधिकरण का बुलडोजर आज गरजता हुआ नजर आ रहा है। माफियाओं को मिट्टी में मिलाने की जो सौगंध मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ ने ली थी, उस सौगंध को धीरे धीरे पूरा करते हुए मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ नजर आ रहे हैं। क्योंकि अतीक अहमद के 3 गुर्गों के घर पर बुलडोजर चलते हुए हमने आप देखा, और आज ये चौथे गुर्गे यानी कि मोहम्मद गुलाम, जो कि शार्प शूटर है, जो कि फरार है, 5 लाख का इनामी बदमाश है, उसकी अवैध संपत्ति पर, अवैध घर पर जिस ईंटों को जोड़कर उसने इस अवैध इमारत को खड़ा किया, उस अवैध इमारत को तोड़ने का जो काम है वो आज किया जा रहा है। और सब कुछ सिर्फ और सिर्फ यहाँ धुआं धुआं होता हुआ नजर आ रहा है। ग्राउंड जीरो से 2 कैमरा एंगल से हम आपको तस्वीर फिलहाल दिखा रहे हैं। माफियाओं पर बुलडोजर प्रहार की 2 तस्वीरें जरा आप देखिए कि किस तरीके से कैमरा 1 से आपको हम दिखा रहे हैं कि एक एक कर जो बुलडोजर के जरिए जो पूरा इलाका है वो यहाँ पर तोड़ा जा रहा है, और उसके जरिए कैमरा 2 से भी हम आपको तस्वीर दिखा रहे हैं कि किस तरीके से ये पीला पंजा चलता हुआ नजर आ रहा है। मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ ने जो सौगंध ली थी, हमने वो तस्वीर भी देखी जब उमेश पाल की हत्या कर दी गई, और 2 सिपाही जो उमेश पाल के 2 गनर थे उनकी भी इस हत्याकांड में मौत हो गई। एक को गुड्डू मुस्लिम ने बम से उड़ा दिया, और उसके बाद दूसरे सिपाही की मौत भी गुड्डू मुस्लिम के बम से ही उड़ी, जिसका सीसीटीवी वायरल हो रहा है। और उसमें हमने देखा है कि किस तरीके से सिपाही पर गुड्डू मुस्लिम बम फेंकता है और सिपाही का एक हाथ पूरा उड़ जाता है, और सिपाही को फिर इलाज के दौरान उस सिपाही की मौत हो जाती है। ये देखिए, और उसके बाद हमने देखा था किस तरीके से उस सिपाही की राख को अपने माथे पर लगाकर मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ ने सौगंध खाई थी, और फिर उस सौगंध को विधानसभा में बुलंद आवाज में दोहराते हुए सबके बीच दहाड़ते हुए मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ ने कहा था माफियाओं को मिट्टी में मिला देंगे। कुछ वही आज होता हुआ नजर आ रहा है। फिलहाल ये 5 तस्वीरें हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं। देखिए 5 तस्वीरें आपके सामने हैं और उसके बाद ये देखिए एक एक कर जो बुलडोजर एक्शन तस्वीर आप देख रहे हैं। मोहम्मद गुलाम के बारे में आपको बता दें, मोहम्मद गुलाम माफिया डॉन अतीक अहमद का गुर्गा है, बेहद करीबी है, बेहद खास है। सालों से अतीक के लिए काम करता आ रहा है। अतीक के इशारे पर कई वारदातों को उसने अंजाम दिया है और उसमें सबसे बड़ी वारदात उमेश पाल हत्याकांड। फिलहाल ये तस्वीरें हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं। ये देखिए, ये जो तस्वीरें आप देख रहे हैं, एक एक कर ये पूरा एक्शन लिया जा रहा है और तस्वीरें हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं। ये देखिए, दो दुकानों के बीच की जो कनेक्टिविटी की पूरी दीवार थी, उस दीवार को यहाँ पर बुलडोजर के माध्यम से तोड़ा गया है। ये देखिए, ये जो नीले रंग की दीवार आप देख रहे हैं, इस दीवार को तोड़ा गया क्योंकि हमने आपको दिखाया। ये देखिए, गेट को भी अब तोड़ने का काम किया जा रहा है क्योंकि दुकान के अंदर से ही ये जो गेट है वो था। और दूसरी तस्वीर आपको दिखा रहे हैं, अब आपको पंकज विजय मेरे तस्वीर आपको दिखा रहे हैं। ये देखिए, बुलडोजर नंबर 2 से आप तस्वीर देखिए कि किस तरीके से तीसरे नंबर की जो दुकान है उसको भी तोड़ा जा रहा है। ये सब दुकानें मोहम्मद गुलाम की है और किस तरीके से इन दीवारों को तोड़ा जा रहा है। इस दीवार पहली दुकान के अंदर अगर आप देखेंगे तो ये देखिए, जो कैमरा 1 से हम आपको तस्वीर दिखा रहे हैं और कैमरा 2 से और कैमरा 3, ये देखिए फिलहाल जो तस्वीर आपके सामने, ये देखिए, ये गेट जो घर के अंदर को जाता है इस दुकान से, ये पूरा कनेक्टिविटी घर और दुकानों के बीच में थी क्योंकि मोहम्मद गुलाम की ही जमीन जिस पर आगे की तरफ ये दुकानें बनाई गई थी, जिन्हें किराए पर दे दिया गया था और पीछे की तरफ पूरा।
All right, so action being initiated against one of the accused in the Umesh Pal murder case. There you can see it. His home is being demolished by authorities in Prayagraj. The BRS MLC K. Kavita has appeared before the Enforcement Directorate for the second round of questioning on Delhi's liquor policy case after she skipped the earlier summons, citing her petition challenging the ED notice pending for hearing before the Supreme Court. The Aam Aadmi Party MP Sanjay Singh and Congress Rajya Sabha MP Pramod Tiwari gave suspension of business notice under Rule 267 in the Rajya Sabha and demanded discussion on the Adani Hindenburg issue. Congress leader Pramod Tiwari has said that there is a need to discuss the constitution of a JPC to investigate the government's role in promoting business interests of the Adani Group. The Delhi police will be deploying over 2,000 security personnel at the Ramleela Maidan, where thousands of farmers are likely to gather for today's Kisan Mahapanchayat. Elaborate security arrangements have been put in place to ensure that the event goes off smoothly. West Bengal's Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has accused the BJP of trying to make a hero out of Congress leader Rahul Gandhi to divert attention from the burning issues by stalling Parliament proceedings over his recent remarks in the United Kingdom. The Chief Minister alleged that the Congress has failed to fight the BJP and has a tacit understanding with the Saffron camp in West Bengal. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge has hit out at the BJP-led central government for sending Delhi police at Rahul Gandhi's residence. The Congress president has alleged that it was an attempt to weaken the Congress.
ये देखिए, उनको सताने के लिए, टारगेट करने के लिए पूरी कोशिश कर रहे हैं और वो डरा के, धमका के, कमजोर करने की बात कर रहे हैं। हम कभी डरने वाले नहीं, कमजोर होने वाले नहीं।
Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida arrived in India on a 2-day visit today. Kishida was received and greeted by the Union Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar at the Delhi airport. The Special Investigation Unit of the Jammu and Kashmir Police is conducting searches at Kakapura area of South Kashmir's Pulwama district in a case related to terrorism. The police is reportedly conducting searches at a terrorist Riaz Ahmed Dar's home, Riaz Ahmed Dar has been active for about 8 years and is believed to be one of the oldest surviving terrorists. A day after a woman who was on a morning walk was killed after being hit by a car on the Worli Sea Face, several runners and joggers held a protest outside the Worli police station. A strong earthquake shook southern Ecuador and northern Peru on Saturday, killing at least 13 people, trapping others under the rubble and sending rescue teams out into streets littered with debris and fallen power lines.
strong 6.7 magnitude earthquake shook the coastal area of Ecuador on Saturday. Several buildings and houses toppled to the ground because of the powerful earthquake. Following the aftermath, the streets of the quake-hit country were littered with debris and fallen power lines. The powerful quake has killed over 15 people and injured at least 126 and more. President paid a visit to the injured in the hospital to take an update on their health. The President of Ecuador expressed solidarity to his nation dealing with the aftermath of a major earthquake that also impacted northern Peru. Agency report for Republic TV.
And coming up next, Khalistanis get a free run in the United Kingdom as the national flag is pulled down at the Indian High Commission in London. And Liquorgate explodes. BRS leader K. Kavita appears before the Enforcement Directorate for round 2 of questioning.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 10 years, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
The Delhi police officials have reached the residence of Rahul Gandhi only after notice was issued to Rahul Gandhi seeking the statements and details of the women he was talking about during one of his speeches at Bharat Jodo Yatra, that many women during that time had come and shared their audios of sexual assault by their own family members and near and dear ones. The special CP coming from one gate and entering a back.
बहुत उपयोगी रहेगी। फ्रेंड्स, आज की हमारी मुलाकात एक और कारण से भी विशेष है। इस साल भारत G20 की अध्यक्षता कर रहा है और जापान G7 की, और इसलिए अपनी अपनी प्राथमिकताओं और हितों पर साथ मिलकर काम करने का यह उत्तम अवसर है। आज मैंने प्रधानमंत्री किशिदा को भारत की G20 अध्यक्षता की प्राथमिकताओं के बारे में विस्तार से बताया। हमारी G20 अध्यक्षता का एक महत्वपूर्ण स्तंभ ग्लोबल साउथ की प्राथमिकताओं को आवाज देना है। वसुधैव कुटुंबकम को मानने वाली संस्कृति सभी को साथ लेकर चलने में विश्वास रखती है और इसलिए हमने ये पहल ली है। फ्रेंड्स, भारत जापान स्पेशल स्ट्रेटेजिक एंड ग्लोबल पार्टनरशिप हमारे साझा लोकतांत्रिक मूल्य और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय पटल पर रूल ऑफ लॉ के सम्मान पर आधारित है। इस साझेदारी को मजबूत बनाना हमारे दोनों देशों के लिए तो महत्वपूर्ण है ही, इससे इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र में शांति, समृद्धि और स्थिरता को भी बढ़ावा मिलता है। आज हमारी बातचीत में हमने द्विपक्षीय संबंधों में हुई प्रगति की समीक्षा की। हमने रक्षा उपकरण और टेक्नोलॉजी सहयोग, व्यापार, स्वास्थ्य और डिजिटल साझेदारी पर विचारों का आदान प्रदान किया। सेमीकंडक्टर और अन्य क्रिटिकल टेक्नोलॉजीज में विश्वस्त सप्लाई चेन्स के महत्व पर भी हमारे बीच सार्थक चर्चा हुई। पिछले साल हमने अगले 5 वर्षों में भारत में 5 ट्रिलियन येन यानी 3,20,000 करोड़ रुपए के जापानी निवेश का लक्ष्य तय किया था। यह संतोष का विषय है कि इस दिशा में अच्छी प्रगति हुई है। 2019 में हमने इंडिया जापान इंडस्ट्रियल कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस पार्टनरशिप की स्थापना की थी। इसके अंतर्गत हम लॉजिस्टिक्स, फूड प्रोसेसिंग, एमएसएमई, टेक्सटाइल्स, मशीनरी और स्टील जैसे क्षेत्रों में भारतीय इंडस्ट्री की कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस बढ़ा रहे हैं। आज हमने इस पार्टनरशिप की सक्रियता पर भी प्रसन्नता व्यक्त की। मुंबई अहमदाबाद हाई स्पीड रेल पर भी हम तेजी से आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। मुझे इस बात की भी खुशी है कि हम 2023 को टूरिज्म एक्सचेंज वर्ष के रूप में मना रहे हैं और इसके लिए हमने कनेक्टिंग हिमालयाज विद माउंट फुजी नाम का थीम चुना है। फ्रेंड्स, आज प्रधानमंत्री किशिदा ने मुझे मई महीने में हिरोशिमा से मैं होने वाली G7 लीडर समिट के लिए निमंत्रण दिया। इसके लिए मैं उनका हृदय से धन्यवाद करता हूं। इसके कुछ महीनों बाद सितंबर में G20 लीडर समिट के लिए मुझे प्रधानमंत्री किशिदा का फिर से भारत में स्वागत करने का अवसर मिलेगा। हमारी बातचीत और संपर्कों का यह सिलसिला इसी प्रकार चलता रहे और भारत जापान संबंध लगातार नई ऊंचाइयों को छूते रहे। इसी कामना के साथ मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देता हूं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. Now may I call upon Honorable Prime Minister of Japan to deliver his remarks.
はい。昨年、3月以来1年ぶりに
After 1 year, I am visiting India again at Hyderabad House. I am very pleased to have had a good discussion with Prime Minister Modi once again. Also, my gratitude is expressed to Prime Minister Modi as well as to people of India who always extend to us warmest welcome and reception. This year, Japan serves the presidency of G7 and India G20. As the world is standing at history's turning point, fraught with difficulties, what role Japan and India should play? I wish to discuss this fully with Prime Minister Modi. With this thought in my mind, I came to India. At the meeting, I have explained that at the G7 Hiroshima summit this May, from the two viewpoints of upholding international order based on the rule of law and strengthening partnership with the international community going beyond G7, including the countries from what is called Global South. Challenges faced by international community will be taken up. Having conveyed this, I reaffirmed with Prime Minister Modi our commitment to strongly uphold the international order based on the rule of law. Also, Prime Minister Modi shared his thoughts on various themes in the international community, especially in areas of development finance, food security, and climate energy. Views concurred to have close cooperation between G7 and G20. We will cooperate toward the successful G7 Hiroshima Summit and G20 New Delhi Summit. In this context, I formally invited Prime Minister Modi to G7 Hiroshima Summit, and on the spot, my invitation was immediately accepted. Regarding the strengthening of our bilateral relations with India, who is our special strategic global partner, wide-ranging discussion also took place. In security area, holding of second Japan-India 2+2 meeting last September, and implementing Japan-India joint fighter exercise for the very first time in January this year were welcomed as concrete progress.
Now, economic cooperation with India, which continues to grow rapidly, will not only support further development of India, but also create significant economic opportunities for Japan. In this regard, we welcome that steady progress is being made towards realizing 5 trillion yen of public and private investment and financing from Japan to India in 5 years, the target which Prime Minister Modi and I set in March last year. And we welcome the signing of the aid memoir to confirm our intention.
हम जो एड मेमोर पे अभी हाल ही में एक्सटेंशन हुआ है उसका भी हम स्वागत करते हैं और हमने इस बात पर दोबारा से पुष्टि करी कि हम ऊर्जा और डिकार्बनाइजेशन पर अपने सहयोग पर काम करते रहेंगे जो हाल ही में एक 300 बिलियन येन का लोन एग्रीमेंट पर भी हस्ताक्षर हुए हैं। इससे हमारा सहयोग और भी बढ़ेगा और हम भारत में कनेक्टिविटी को और भी बढ़ाने के लिए खास तौर पर भारत के उत्तर पूर्वी क्षेत्र में
Fiscal 2023 will be the year of Japan-India tourism exchange to promote our exchanges through tourism. I also welcome the renewal of our MOC on Japanese language education. During our working lunch to follow, I hope to have yet another productive discussion on such topics as the Indo-Pacific regional situations. After our working lunch, I will announce my new plan on Free and Open Indo-Pacific, or FOIP, at a lecture event hosted by the ICWA. It gives me a great pleasure to be able to unveil my new vision on the soil of India, which is our indispensable partner in realizing FOIP. I am looking forward to welcoming Prime Minister Modi in Hiroshima in May, and to once again visiting India on the occasion of G20 New Delhi Summit. I thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. That concludes the press statements. Thank you all for joining.
All right, so Prime Minister Modi there, having been invited to the G7 Leaders Summit, which is slated to be held in Hiroshima in May. Prime Minister there extending gratitude to Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, who is on a 2-day visit to the country. Prime Minister says that today Japanese Prime Minister invited me to the G7 Leaders Summit, which will be held in Hiroshima in May. Today I told Prime Minister Kishida in detail about the priorities of our G20 presidency. So Prime Minister Modi there, having been invited for the G7 summit that is slated to be held in Hiroshima in May. Meanwhile, a statement that has also been made by the Japanese counterpart, who says that I formally invited Prime Minister Modi to the G7 Hiroshima summit, and on the spot my invitation was immediately accepted. So that's a big takeaway coming in right now of Prime Minister Modi having been invited for the G7 Hiroshima summit that is slated to be held in May. Let's go across to our senior executive editor Abhishek joining us. Abhishek, if you can take us through your key takeaways from the joint statement of India and Japan.
The joint statement is essentially a reiteration of the underlying strength of the India-Japan partnership. As I was mentioning, it's a long-standing, durable friendship which has weathered so many geopolitical storms, and increasingly, in fact, we are seeing coming together of India and Japan in the backdrop of increasing belligerence of China. The G7, where Prime Minister is almost a permanent invitee now, of course, Japan also inviting him. That's the announcement made then. Then Quad, then IPEF, and so many platforms on which the two nations work together. And this is, of course, apart from a very independent and strong, resilient development partnership which exists between the two sides. So, for example, the metro, the bullet train that's coming up between Ahmedabad and Mumbai with substantial Japanese technological transfer, and of course, funding as part of soft loans. And then many other projects that have been there in the works for quite some time, and that's an indication of how strong the relationship is. But as of now, of course, whatever developments we are seeing, Samiksha, are happening in the backdrop of recent geopolitical changes, and that's summit that's taken place, essentially reiterating that the two nations really stand together, and Prime Minister Kishida is traveling with a high-powered delegation. Japan happens to be our fifth largest investor, and many of these companies have been around for years and decades together as part of the development partnership. So I think including the new cooperation areas like the clean energy partnership, like the critical energy component in it, and all those things. So G7, G20, Quad, IPEF, so many platforms on which the two nations really coordinate their steps to make sure that the foreign policies are aligned. I think this is significant, and it's the fact that it's a working visit. Prime Minister Kishida has flown down, and this is the first of the meetings this year, and they would be meeting again in Hiroshima on the sidelines of G7. Then again back in Delhi in September as part of the G20, and then of course Quad in the month of May itself. Prime Minister will be flying down from Hiroshima to Sydney. I think the number of engagements that take place between the two leaders themselves really shows the kind of intense partnership that exists. Also, it goes back to late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who in fact in many ways sort of shepherded the idea of Quad in the Indo-Pacific as an alliance which makes sure that the Chinese belligerence is contained in some manner, though of course that's a word which nobody uses in terms of whether in that containing China. But that significant geopolitical, geostrategic, economic development partnership really shaping up, and this summit essentially a marker of that.
Well, absolutely. Thank you for sharing us your insights. So, Abhishek, they're sharing with us the key takeaways of the joint statement by Prime Minister Modi and his Japanese counterpart. Prime Minister Modi there having been invited for the G7 Hiroshima summit. And in more news from across the globe, demonstrators gathered in Paris this day after before voting on two no-confidence motions against the French government. Here's all that's been transpiring in Paris.
24 hours before voting on a controversial pension reform bill in France, demonstrators gathered in Paris. Demonstrations soon took a serious turn which culminated in tension between riot police and the demonstrators, some of which briefly clashed with the police. Protests have been taking place since French President Emmanuel Macron announced the unpopular pension reform and invoked the government's constitutional power to pass the bill without vote at the National Assembly. Macron's political opponents in the National Assembly filed two no-confidence motions Friday against the government of Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne. Government officials are hoping to survive a vote on the motions because the opposition is divided, with many Republicans expected not to support it. If a motion passes, however, it would be a big blow for Macron. Agency report for Republic TV.
Khalistanis get free run in United Kingdom national flag pull down at the Indian High Commission. And government hits out at Rahul in an unrelenting attack, says Rahul must come clean with his agenda.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 10 years, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, mass comm, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
The concept electric SUV EVX reveals Maruti Suzuki's bold plan towards electric mobility in India. Designed and developed by Suzuki Motor Corporation, the concept EVX is underpinned by a ground-up all-electric platform that will spawn a range of future EVs. The Maruti Suzuki's EVX is powered by 60 kilowatt-hour battery pack, offering up to 550-kilometer driving range. INR 100 billion investment committed by Suzuki Motor Corporation for production of BEVs and batteries in India. Inspired by the overarching concept of an emotional versatile cruiser, the concept EVX's unmistakable progressive SUV silhouette is instinctively distinct from that of a conventional SUV. Concept electric SUV EVX comes with a dimension of 4300 mm length, 1800 mm width and 1600 mm height. 60 kilowatt battery pack with safe battery technology. The EVX bears Suzuki's signature SUV design with aerodynamic silhouette, long wheelbase, shorter overhangs and optimum ground clearance. EVX's class-leading functionality with a dedicated EV platform will be offering safe battery technology. The concept electric SUV EVX is designed to offer class-leading cabin comfort, convenience and connected features. The emotional versatile cruiser, the concept electric SUV EVX, an upcoming car with advanced technology and comfort.
The Delhi police officials have reached the residence of Rahul Gandhi only after notice was issued to Rahul Gandhi seeking the statements of
All right, we start with a news break that's just coming in from Kerala. We are now getting in the first response of Union Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar on the Kerala Bishop backing the BJP. This, of course, comes after the Archbishop said that there was no need to keep the ruling party of the country away from the church, further adding that the church has no aversion or untouchable attitude towards the BJP. So, Rajiv Chandrasekhar there, the Union Minister, welcoming the statement that has been made by the Archbishop, where he has extended support to the BJP, saying that if the problems are addressed of the farmers, the church would be extending support to the BJP. A statement that has been welcomed by the BJP and been condemned by the left government as well. In fact, Rajiv Chandrasekhar there speaking on the matter said, I think this is a very welcome statement by the Archbishop, and it is clear that Prime Minister always stood for the Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Let's listen into that reaction that's coming from Rajiv Chandrasekhar.
No, I think it's a very welcome statement by the Bishop of Talasheri. I was there in December of last year, where I visited with many students and many young Malayalis in that area. And it is clear that the Prime Minister has always stood for Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. And it is important that community leaders stand up and explain to the members of their community that the Prime Minister has been relentlessly working for the betterment of all Indians, regardless of their religion, regardless of where they come from. So I welcome this statement by the Bishop of Talasheri.
All right, so there you heard a statement that has come in from Rajiv Chandrasekhar welcoming the statement of the Kerala Archbishop. Remember, the Kerala Archbishop has offered to help the BJP open an account in Kerala in the next election, provided the price of rubber is increased to 300 per kilogram. So Ashwin tracking that story very closely from Thiruvananthapuram. Let's go across to Ashwin. All right, before we go across to Ashwin, just to tell our viewers, this was a statement that came in from the Kerala Archbishop, who offered to extend support to the BJP provided the party increases the rubber prices to 300 rupees per kilogram. And a quick roundup of news and brief from across the globe. Top British officials have said that the UK government will take the security of the Indian High Commission seriously as they condemn the vandalism at the mission by a group of protesters waving separatist Khalistani flags. Chinese President Xi Jinping will meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow today. This as China aspires for a more dominant role on the world stage. The planned meeting comes after a series of developments in which China has asserted itself as peacemaker, including the release of its own peace plan for Ukraine and the brokering of an agreement between Saudi Arabia and Iran to resume diplomatic ties. The former president of Taiwan is scheduled to make a historic visit to China this month, thus becoming the first Taiwanese president, whether current or retired, to ever visit the communist nation. Now, during the 10-day trip that starts from 27th of March, the contrasting views of Taiwan's two major political parties on their relationship with China will be emphasized just as they prepare to campaign for the upcoming presidential and parliamentary elections due for January 2024. US National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby has claimed that he was not aware of any calls for violent protests that may have been made by former US President Donald Trump, further adding that there is no indication that the White House needs to bolster security. Iraqi Foreign Minister meanwhile joined European Union officials in Brussels for a meeting of the EU-Iraq Cooperation Council. Ahead of the meeting, the European Union Foreign Policy Chief said he hoped Iraq and the bloc would build on this solid partnership, further adding that they plan to discuss a wide range of issues from economic cooperation to migration. Demonstrators meanwhile gathered in Paris on Sunday, a day before French lawmakers are set to vote on two no-confidence motions against the government that could result in rejection of the controversial pension reform bill, something that has sparked protests across the country. New York Community Bank has agreed to buy a significant chunk of the failed Signature Bank in a $2.7 billion deal. The 40 branches of the Signature Bank will now become Flagstar Bank starting today. Flagstar is one of New York's Community Bank's subsidiaries. Nepal's newly elected vice president is scheduled to take the oath of office and secrecy on Monday. Today at the president's, in fact, according to Nepal's president's office, a oath-taking ceremony has been scheduled for this morning at the president's residence. Meanwhile, a Colombian army helicopter crashed on Sunday, claimed the lives of 4 soldiers who were on board. President said that there were no survivors in the accident in the west of the country. The president further added that the aircraft was carrying out supply work in the area when the crash happened. Meanwhile, in news from New York, where 5 children from the U.S. state of Connecticut, ranging from the age of 8 to 17, were killed in a fiery early morning crash on the highway in New York State. And news that is coming in from UK, where a group of Khalistani supporters demonstrated outside the Indian High Commission in London. The police, meanwhile, came in to to control these protesters. However, the agitators continued with their sloganeering. The visuals there on your screens that are coming in from the Indian High Commission in London, where you see how there was an attempt to pull down the Indian flag. So Khalistani propaganda there, which is being seen in UK as well. The question here arising that will the UK officials act on this Khalistani propagandists who continue with their agenda in several countries, including UK. Of course, visual they're coming in from London, where the group of Khalistani supporters were seen protesting outside the Indian High Commission in London. Meanwhile, remember, the Minister of External Affairs has initiated a strong action by calling summons, in fact, by issuing summons to the British Deputy High Commissioner at their office. So, tracking closely the story that's coming in from UK, where you see the scenes outside the Indian High Commission in London, where you see a lot of Khalistani supporters who gathered in large numbers with the Khalistani flags. They tried to bring down the Indian flag, however, it was thwarted with the UK police also. We understand having initiated an action. We'll try and go across to Abhishek as well for more details on this. But remember, the Minister of External Affairs has initiated a strong action. The British Deputy High Commissioner has been summoned by the MEA after this incident was reported, where you see a group of Khalistani supporters who demonstrated outside the Indian High Commission in London. Now, this incident, we understand, happened on 19th of March, which is Sunday, where you see how there are a group of Khalistani supporters who've gathered outside the Indian High Commission office, and there was an attempt to bring down the Indian flag. The Minister of External Affairs having initiated a strong action by issuing summons to the UK Deputy High Commissioner Christina Scott. Mission premises. We slip into a very short break, but on the other side, we'll get you the latest as massive manhunt continues for Amritpal Singh and his supporters. And also coming up on the other side, the latest on round 2 of K Kavita quizzing, which is happening as we speak.
The Delhi police officials have reached the residence of Rahul Gandhi only after notice was issued to Rahul Gandhi seeking the statements and details of the women he was talking about during one of his speeches at Bharat Jodo Yatra, that many women during that time had come and shared their ordeals of sexual assault by their own family members and near and dear ones. The special CP coming from one gate and entering back in the residence from the other gates. We'll have to see as to what is it all about, whether he has given any time or whether he has cooperated or not, but a lot of support pouring in at the Congress leader's residence.
The Auto Drivers Union have gone on to launch a protest out here in the streets of Bengaluru, stating that they are protesting against bike taxis as well. And now we are looking at many auto drivers who are being bundled off by the cops out here at Maurya Circle in the heart of the city as well, because the union for long has now been demanding that there should be a ban on bike taxis, which says that it goes on and threatens the lives of auto rickshaw drivers as well. And this is something which has been stressed now and again. But then in 2011, the Karnataka High Court had gone on to give some sort of respite to them, where there was an, where there was a stay order which was given by them as well. And now the auto drivers are going on to state that the bike taxi is exploiting youngsters by deceiving them on incentives as well. But all said and done, it's a huge ruckus which has broken out as well, where the auto drivers unions are protesting in many parts across Bengaluru too. With video journalist Bhagat Prajwal Prasad reporting for Republic, Bengaluru.
Khalistanis get a free run in United Kingdom national flag pulled down at the Indian High Commission.
The Delhi police officials have reached the residence of Rahul Gandhi only after notice was issued to Rahul Gandhi seeking the statements and details of the women he was talking about during one of his speeches at Bharat Jodo Yatra, that many women during that time had come and shared their ordeals of sexual assault by their own family members and near and dear ones. The special CP coming from one gate and entering back in the residence from the other gates. We'll have to see as to what is it all about, whether he has given any time or whether he has cooperated or not, but a lot of support pouring in at the Congress leader's residence.
Top headlines at 1 p.m. 24 hours on. Amritpal Singh still on the run. Republic accesses clincher CCTV tape. Big questions over law and order in Punjab. Who let Amritpal Singh escape is a question.
I think you need closure, and the closure will only come if he apologizes. And he should apologize categorically.
Government hits out at Rahul in an unrelenting attack, says Rahul must come clean with his agenda. India summons top UK diplomat to protest pulling down of national flag at mission in London. Liquorgate explodes. BRS leader Kavita appears before Enforcement Directorate for round 2 of interrogation. Alright, we're tracking the big story this afternoon, the massive manhunt that continues for Amritpal Singh and his aides. A lot of leads that are just coming in of Amritpal's uncle, who's now surrendered before the police in a late night action by the state police. A lot of clincher footage also that we've accessed, which is on your screens. Meanwhile, we're given to understand that internet services have been snapped till tomorrow. So that's the latest, of course, coming in. While Amritpal Singh still remains on the run, his father, while speaking to the public, said that his son has done nothing wrong and that these are fake cases being slapped against his son. The visuals there on your screens is that clincher CCTV tape that we've accessed, where you see Amritpal Singh, who's seen escaping in that luxury car that he owned. Let's listen in to that exclusive conversation we had with Amritpal Singh's father, who says that his son has done nothing wrong and that all of this is a fake charge that is being slapped against his son.
अमृतपाल के चाचा ने और उनके ड्राइवर ने जो है पुलिस के सामने सरेंडर किया है। बात करने के लिए अमृतपाल के पिता हमारे साथ तरसेम जी मौजूद हैं। सर, आपके भाई और जो उनके ड्राइवर थे उन्होंने जो है सरेंडर किया है पुलिस के सामने। क्या आपको इस बाबत पहले जानकारी थी, आपसे बात हुई थी उनकी?
उनका रात को 10 बजे के आसपास एक फ़ोन आया था, तो उन्होंने यही बताया था कि हम सरेंडर करने जा रहे हैं। हमारा कुछ गुनाह तो कुछ नहीं है, लेकिन पुलिस अगर हमको गिरफ्तार करना चाह रही है तो हम तैयार हैं उसके लिए। तो हम लोग का पहले भी भागने का कोई मंशा नहीं थी, लेकिन हम लोग अपना प्रोग्राम अटेंड करने के लिए उधर जाना चाह रहे थे कि चलो ये दाएं बाएं होके कैसे निकल जाएं। तो और कोई हमारा भागने का किसी कोई ऐसा कोई प्लान नहीं था। तो इसलिए हम सुबह मेरी DIG से बात हो रही है, या होगी है, तो मैं सुबह तक सरेंडर कर दूंगा।
देखिए, पुलिस ने कुछ दावे किस चीज़ों के किए हैं। एक जो इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसीज बताती हैं कि जो यहाँ पे AKF लिखा है, अमृतपाल एक फ़ौज खड़ी करना चाहते थे अपनी और हथियारबंद लोगों को अपने साथ जोड़ना चाहते थे। ये आरोप जो हैं केंद्रीय एजेंसियां लगा रही। नहीं, ऐसा एक बिल्कुल फेक हुआ है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं था। उन्होंने वो जो लड़के थे उन्होंने पता नहीं उसका आनंदपुर खालसा अपने हथियारों पे आनंदपुर खालसा फौज ऐसा लिखा। बिल्कुल सही है। तो बाकी तो ऐसा कोई फ़ौज जोड़ने का कोई धंधा नहीं था। कोई ऐसा 5-6 आदमी से फ़ौज खड़ा होता है। वो कह रहे हैं कि जो एंटी ड्रग्स की बात की जा रही है कि ड्रग एडिक्शन से युवाओं को दूर करना था, उसके नाम पे जो है एक फ़ौज को खड़ा करना था, जो अमृतपाल का एक बड़ा प्लान था जिसको सफल नहीं होने दिया गया। नहीं, वो ऐसा कोई प्लान नहीं था। वो प्लान तो खाली नशा तस्करों के साथ ही कोई उनकी हो सकती है, बाकी और किसी को कोई फ़ौज खड़ी करने के लिए कोई ऐसा कोई प्लान नहीं था। वो खाली जो उनके पास 5-7 आदमी थे, वो खाली उनकी सेफ्टी के लिए थे और कोई लड़ाई झगड़ा के लिए, कोई फ़ौज के लिए नहीं थे। पुलिस ने कल एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस की जिसमें कहा कि आपके घर की सर्च हुई, कुछ नहीं मिला, लेकिन अमृतपाल के साथियों के पास जो भी हथियार मिले हैं सभी के सभी इलीगल हथियार हैं। वो गुरपेश ने अमृतपाल के कहने पे उसके साथियों को दिए थे और एक FIR जो है अमृतपाल के नाम पे दर्ज कर दी गई। लेकिन ये सब फेक केस बनाए जा रहे हैं। जब भी कि उनके पास हमारे सामने हम जो बातचीत होती थी वो सारे लीगल हथियार थे। अभी पुलिस ने क्या लीगल छिपा के दूसरे पेश किए, वो तो पुलिस का जो धंधा है वो कर रहे हैं अपना, जब बदनाम कर रहे हैं अमृतपाल को। ऐसा कुछ नहीं था, देश के अपने कानून के बाहर कोई भी चीज़ नहीं थी।
तो इस सब सही था, लेकिन अभी वो क्या कहानी बना रहे हैं वो तो उनको क्या रूप देना चाह रहे हैं वो पुलिस ही बता सकती है।
आपके भाई जिन्होंने ये सरेंडर किया है वो अमृतपाल के साथ हमेशा रहा करते थे, हर बार मतलब ये माना जाता था कि सबसे क्लोज वही हैं। उन्होंने क्या आपको अमृतपाल के बारे में कुछ बताया? अमृतपाल कहाँ हैं, क्यों भागे हैं, क्या है?
नहीं, उन्होंने वही बताया था कि उन्होंने पहले पूछा था कि अमृतपाल का कुछ आपके साथ कोई संपर्क हुआ अभी तक, कि मेरे को तो ना तो पुलिस का जानकारी से या ना किसी से, ऐसे उनको भी जो ऐसे टीवी मीडिया के थ्रू थोड़ी बहुत ही बात थी तो वो भी चिंतित थे कि वो किधर है, तो अगर आप लोग को मालूम है तो मेरे को बताओ। लेकिन हम लोग को भी कोई उसके बारे में अभी तक कोई जानकारी नहीं है। हम लोग को तो यकीन है कि पुलिस की कस्टडी में है वो, तो हम लोग को वो भी बोला कि मेरे को भी ऐसा डाउट है कि वो पुलिस की कस्टडी में ही हो सकते हैं। बाहर तक किधर जाने का कोई ना प्लान था ना कोई कोशिश थी ऐसे, तो हमारा कोशिश भी थोड़ी बहुत थी तो हम लोग को अपना प्रोग्राम में पहुंचने की, ना पुलिस ने हमको कभी सम्मन किया था, ना कोई हमको इतला दी थी कि हम लोग को आपको अरेस्ट करना चाह रहे हैं जहाँ आपके ऊपर कोई केस है। हम लोग को तो केस का भी कल ही पता चला कि हमारे ऊपर अजनाड़ा में कोई FIR है। अगर पहले से होता तो हम पहले से भी उसको डिफेंड करते थे।
लेकिन एक और बात इसमें चीज़ जो निकल कर आ रही है कि अमृतपाल अगर भागे हुए हैं तो क्या आपकी अपील रहेगी उनसे कि वो सरेंडर कर दें?
नहीं, हमारी तो हमको तो यकीन है कि वो पुलिस के कस्टडी में है। अगर आप बाहर भी है तो हम लोग अमृतपाल को भी कहते हैं कि तो आप सामने आओ, क्यों आपने कोई गुनाह नहीं किया, ऐसा कोई हम लोग को डरने का जरूरत नहीं, ना हमारा कोई ऐसा पिछोकड़ है कि जो हम कोई गलत किया है या जो कोई प्रूव हो सकता है। इसलिए ऐसा कुछ भी है उसको, अगर पहली बात तो ऐसा है नहीं है, लेकिन है तो हम उसका अमृतपाल को ही बोलते हैं कि बेटा तुम सामने आओ, कोई बात नहीं, जैसा होगा देखेंगे।
परिवार तो क्या कोई लीगल रूट लेगा? क्योंकि जो वारिस पंजाब डे के लीगल एडवाइज़र हैं ईमान सिंह खारा, वो हाई कोर्ट में मूव कर चुके हैं। उन्होंने अमृतपाल के बिहाफ पे हिबियस कॉर्पस लगा दी है कि पुलिस इन्हें प्रोड्यूस करे, ये पुलिस की गिरफ्त में है। क्या परिवार भी जो है कोई लीगल रूट लेने की सोच रहा है?
नहीं, हम लोग तो वो हमारी राय से ही उन्होंने वो जड़ी पिटीशन मूव की है, तो बाकी और आगे क्या हम लोग को ज़रूरत पड़ती है, कोई लीगल एडवाइस दी, लीगल ज़रूरत है, वो ऐसे ही हम लोग कोशिश करेंगे। और
So, Republic, while speaking to Amritpal Singh's father, said Amritpal's father, who said that his son has done nothing wrong and that these are fake cases being registered against Amritpal Singh and his supporters. Meanwhile, remember late last night the police took Amritpal Singh's uncle and his driver in custody. We are also given to understand arms and ammunition were recovered from the uncle of Amritpal Singh, who surrendered before the Punjab police late last night. The visuals there right now on your screens is that clincher CCTV also that we've accessed, in which we see Amritpal Singh escaping in his Mercedes car. Let's go across to Amandeep as well, who's been tracking all the developments. Amandeep, any leads that the Punjab police has been able to gather as far as tracing Amritpal's location is concerned?
Well, so far, Samiksha, the Punjab police was not able to identify the locations and the hideouts of Amritpal Singh, but yes, they have identified some people who might know where is Amritpal Singh. And one of the prime suspects is his uncle, Harjeet Singh, who is in the custody of Punjab police. Now he has taken to Amritsar for the questioning, and further he will be produced. And the information is coming that he might shift to Dibrugarh jail in Assam also, along with the other accomplices. And in fact, driver and Amritpal's uncle Harjeet Singh both were accompanied Amritpal Singh when he managed to flee from the police check. Uncle of Amritpal was driving the car, that Mercedes in which Amritpal flee, in fact, which even that has captured in the CCTV also, that how the police is chasing Amritpal's vehicle, and he was trying to dodge the police as well. So now there are a lot of complications, but yes, the police hunt is still on. The two districts are behind Amritpal Singh. One is Amritsar and another is Jalandhar, and in fact this operation is still continued. They are just waiting for the intelligence input with some concrete evidence of the presence of Amritpal Singh, and accordingly they will conduct the raid. But two more arrested, and in fact the car, the SUV Mercedes, has been seized by police, and further it is very much likely that both have been shifted to Dibrugarh jail in Assam to avoid any kind of uncertainty. But the police is completely dependent on the intelligence input. They are conducting the raids at several places.
several people connected to Waris Punjab and Amritpal Singh, they are on the surveillance of Punjab police, and in fact the randomly questioning is also happening, and they are randomly conducting the searches at the different places to verify the presence of Amritpal Singh. Just because when he had escaped from the police net, he remained in the area of Jalandhar rural. Yes, Samiksha.
Yes, Amandeep, thank you for the moment. We'll keep coming back to you for the latest. So, of course, Amandeep getting us the latest on Amritpal Singh, who remains untraceable as we speak. Meanwhile, we're given to understand that more aides of Amritpal Singh who have been arrested by the Punjab police could be taken to Dibrugarh. But remember, his uncle and his driver were arrested late last night by the Punjab police following that surrendering by his uncle and his aide. And a quick roundup of news in brief from across the country. All mobile internet services, SMS services and dongle services provided on mobile network except the voice call in the territorial jurisdiction of Punjab remain suspended till 21st of March in interest of public safety. After Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's scathing attack on Congress MP Rahul Gandhi, the Vadra Congress took a jibe at the Chief Minister. The Vadra Congress has alleged that Mamata and BJP have brokered a pact to attack Rahul Gandhi. This comes against a backdrop of Mamata and Akhilesh meeting.
ममता बनर्जी जो कह रही है ना, ये मोदी की आदेश और निर्देश पे ही कह रही है, क्योंकि ममता बनर्जी बंगाल में भी साबित कर दिए हैं, बल्कि सारे हिंदुस्तान में ये साबित कर दिए हैं कि ममता और मोदी मतलब दीदी और मोदी में एक करार हुई है। ये करार की मकसद ये है कि कांग्रेस पार्टी और खासकर राहुल गांधी जी को किसी हालत में इनको तबाह करने का और इनकी छवि को धूमिल करने का हर संभव प्रयास किया जाना चाहिए, क्योंकि हिंदुस्तान में पहली बार मोदी जी नारा लगाए थे कि कांग्रेस मुक्त भारत। उस समय ये ममता बनर्जी सही रास्ते पे थे।
Samajwadi Party Chief Akhilesh Yadav said that the BJP will be defeated on all 80 seats in the state of UP in the upcoming 2024 Lok Sabha polls, further accusing the BJP of not fulfilling the promises that were made before the elections in the state. Meanwhile, Archbishop from Kerala has promised to extend help to the BJP to bag a seat in the parliament from Kerala if the union government raises the price of rubber to Rs 300 per kg. Addressing a meeting of the Catholic Farmers Conference in North Kerala town, the bishop said that there is no need to keep the ruling party out of the country away from the church, further adding that the church has no aversion or untouchable attitude towards the BJP. The opposition MLAs meanwhile held a protest on the steps of Vidhan Bhavan in Mumbai. The leaders were seen carrying onions, grapes as they demanded immediate relief for farmers suffering from hailstorms, seasonal rainfall in the state of Maharashtra. Odisha Assembly meanwhile has been adjourned till 4 p.m. today by Speaker Bikram Keshari due to a protest by the BJP and Congress MLAs demanding the resignation of the School and Mass Education Minister over matric exam question paper leak. Tamil Nadu Finance Minister meanwhile presented the state budget for the year in the Assembly today. During the budget, the Finance Minister announced that over 18,000 crore rupees would be allocated for state health care and 40,000 crore would be allocated for the school education in the state. Meanwhile, agitated dairy farmers in Tamil Nadu's Madurai staged a protest. The farmers threw milk on the road during their protest against the Tamil Nadu governor demanding an increase in milk procurement prices. The Kisan Mahapanchayat has begun at the Ramleela Maidan in the national capital amid tight security. The farmers have gathered here to demand a legal guarantee on MSP and fulfillment of their other demands. Alright, a news that's just coming in from poll-bound state Karnataka, where the Aam Aadmi Party has released a first list of 80 candidates for the upcoming elections in the state. Former Congress leader and spokesperson, meanwhile, Brajesh Kalappa would be contesting from Chickpet. Meanwhile, former bureaucrat K. Mathai would be contesting from Shantinagar, and actor Tennis Krishna would be contesting from the Turvikiri district. So those are the details of the list that's been released by the Aam Aadmi Party ahead of the state going for polls. So just a few months away from the state polls to happen in Karnataka, the AAP having released the first list of 80 candidates for the polls. Let's go across to Prajwal for more details. Prajwal, if you can take us through the finer details of the first list that's been released by the Aam Aadmi Party ahead of state polls.
The Aam Aadmi Party had always been stating that they will be going on and choosing candidates who have a good education background this time around to make sure that they set a difference as well. And around 10 to 11 constituencies of Bengaluru has now been finalized out of the 28 assembly constituencies here. Now we are speaking about Kirtan Kumar, who was an independent candidate last time from Dasrali, and this time around he is also again contesting from Dasrali itself. On an AAP ticket, we are seeing Manjunath Naidu from Hebbal and Suman Prashant from Malleshwaram. So quite some prominent names as well. But now what is very interesting over here is that we are also having Dr. Ramesh Belamakonda from Vijayanagar Assembly constituency. And this will definitely be quite interesting because Krishnappa from the Congress and Ravindra from the BJP, who did go on and contest last time, also faced a stiff resistance from him only as an independent candidate. But this time around he's also going on to contest from as an AAP candidate as well, and he's been known in the constituency mainly for going on and creating many free clinics for the patients who go on and visit his constituency. Apart from which, we are also seeing Srinivas Reddy from BTM layout and Sitaram Gundappa. And mainly when it comes to BTM layout, we see that the Reddy people, the Reddy voters are in huge numbers as well, and this will turn out to be a three-pronged fight as well, because we are also seeing that from the BJP, it is Lallesh Reddy, who is one of the ticket aspirants from the BTM layout, and from the Congress, it is Ramlinga Reddy too. So going on and looking into all these, all these constituencies in Bengaluru, it looks like a match for a match battle where they have gone on to name their candidates. But what is very surprising over here, Samiksha, is the fact that Prithvi Reddy, who is the president of the AAP in Karnataka, his name does not feature in the first list as well. So where will he be contesting from is something that everybody is looking forward to and waiting as to what will be the strategy of the AAP as well. And apart from which, we are also seeing Mukhyamantri Chandru's name also not being featured here. He was formerly with the Congress and then he moved to the